Hey Peaches, today's Pick a Card Tarot reading is all about focusing your scattered energies. Maybe there's a little bit of attention deficit going on. We all have that sometimes. So we're going to look into what really needs your focus right now, what may be distracting you, and then how you can refocus your energy. Okay, so let's go. Okay, stack 1, you have the little blue fish. Stack 2, the fox, and stack 3, the deer. There's the timestamp, so you can go right to your reading. Okay, stack 1, the little blue fish. You have, I refuse to be a poopy pants crybaby. I control my flows. Okay, you have death. Enigma, that's the high priestess. And then you have the 7 of water. And so this one, this is what's needing your attention right now, the 7 of water. It's like the 7 of cups. So I would say, remember that what you give your attention to is what grows, right? Your focus is like sun and water on a plant. And so if you have a choice here where you focus, and what needs your attention is anything that you want to flourish and to come true and to ground into reality. Anything that you don't want to step out of like the painting of a nightmare, I would starve it of your attention. And yeah, I know you can't say, like, don't think of a pink elephant, because now that's exactly what you're thinking about, right? So no, let me be clear. Don't focus at all on ignoring what you don't want to grow. Just turn all of your attention now to what your dreams coming true would look like. Visualize everything that you desire being yours. Or use any manifestation techniques you like. It's like there's a gajillion here on YouTube, but they all have one thing in common, and like it's the focus on the feeling of what it is that you want, whether it's love or abundance. So give your attention to anything in your life that you that's already there, that you feel grateful for. All the sources of love in all its forms, like petting a puppy or whatever you have to do to connect with that feeling. And so this is what is distracting you. And it's unusual to get this as a distraction, but hear me out. So like, she's the keeper of esoteric wisdom and secrets. And so it's as though you feel there's something behind the curtain keeping your manifestation out of reach. And it's like you're determined to figure out the secret. And so maybe I take back what I said about looking at manifestation techniques, because that can be a bottomless YouTube algorithm rabbit hole that you'll never find your way out of. So there's just so many people claiming to know the truth, keeping you too occupied from seeking your own. And the divinity within you, your creative power, that's your birthright. It's in your hands right now without changing a thing. It's not behind any guarded veil. And the flip side to that is that there's also no one standing in your way but you. That's kind of what is the message on the other side of this card. I read it, but I'm not going to just read it out. The problem and the solution, they're both you. And so, yeah, while you can't blame anyone, the upside is that you get to take all the credit when you finally do succeed. And so you have death coming in for how to release that external seeking and refocus your attention on the seeds that you want to come to fruition. I just saw this really cool meme. I thought of it immediately when this came out. It's like an egg with a crack in it, and there's like light coming out of it, and it says something like, if an egg is broken by outside force, life ends. And if it's broken by inside force, life begins. Great things always begin from inside. So I'm seeing you like shattering the illusion that... Okay, do you remember the movie Willow? Please tell me you do. I know I can't be that old. There's like, to pass the test to become this wizard apprentice, he asks the candidates, he says, the power to control the world is in which finger? And he holds up his hand for them each to choose. And they all guess each one of his fingers, and they're all wrong. It turns out the answer was their own. It's your own finger. And so there was an illusion kind of in the question, but you're shattering any illusion that removes you from your power, essentially. So it's completely shedding the belief that life happens to you. I mean, yes, stuff does happen to you, but you can't think of yourself as a puppet of fate either. Part of the 7 of water for what needs your attention is seeing through illusions. seeing through people trying to sell you programs so you can be successful like them. But if they were successful doing the thing that the program teaches, they'd be too busy doing it to be hustling money from you for their course. All right, no, not everybody. Okay, that's not fair. Some people are lowering the ladder for the next generation, but I feel like they're the exception. Anyway, my point is they're creating an illusion of having something that you want, a built-in laser pointer on what you lack that they actually have. Like, no one is selling gratitude because there's no passive income for them in it. Like, that lack of energy, that has to be dead to you. So focus on the very real things and people in your life that make you feel lucky and feel wealthy, and water the living sprouts. It's like, don't be watering a dead plant, okay? So that's what I have for now. But if you want me to pull one more card just for clarity on, you know, how to narrow this down for you, comment stack 1 and I'll pull a clarifier for you. Thank you. Okay, stack 2, the Fox. It says, everything I desire, it's on its way to me at warp speed. You have experience. That is the Justice card, the Hermit in reverse, and the Fool in reverse. Okay, so this is what needs your attention, the Fool in reverse. This is pretty good, guys. So it's like it wants you to ask, where are you lacking faith right now? This card speaks on how the world is a mirror. It's like there's a whole thing back here. I'm not going to just read it out, but it talks about the world being a mirror, right? And as you hold back, what you want holds back. And when you move forward towards your desires, they move forward towards you. And so faith is hard, guys. And if you've watched my readings for any length of time, you'll know that I may have never used that word, or at least very rarely. I guess I stick with the word trust, but I'm hearing faith in this reading. It's like you can't see it, the love, the abundance, the excess, whatever that is. And it may very well be far, but when you make moves towards it, it budges forward too. So if you're locked down, waiting for a sign, the universe is locked down, waiting for a signal from you that you're on your way, arms open to receive it. So whatever this is for you, where you're playing it hyper safe. Okay, so there's overly cautious, and then there's rash and irresponsible risk taking. So somewhere in the middle lies leaps of faith and calculated risk. And whatever this is for you, it's asking for your attention right now. But what may be distracting you? The Hermit in reverse. So it's not the world or the universe necessarily that you don't trust. I'm seeing a lot of self-doubt. Like the faith that you're short on may be in yourself. And also definitely a focus on external validation or looking out at someone else's path rather than your own. It doesn't matter what others are getting right now. Like if you watch track runners, right? Their eyes are straight ahead and you don't see them swiveling to see who's catching up or what the others in the race are doing. What's yours is already yours, and they're not going to get it because what's theirs is already theirs. And all you have to do is move towards it. This is definitely a reminder to keep your eyes on your own work, because nothing will slow you down quite like comparison will. And with the Hermit in reverse, it can call into question the authenticity of something. Not necessarily you per se, but make sure that you really want what you want because you want it and why. Watch out for the external world telling you what you should want. It's like you'd like to think that that wouldn't be possible, but unfortunately advertisers are better at psychology than most counselors. All right, hang on. Come here. Oh, well, then beat it then. Anyways, sorry. And advertisers aren't even it anymore. It's like our whole society seems to be driven by want. So not being crystal clear on the difference between like your soul cry versus just how you stack up to cultural norms, comparison, desires, whatever, that can be a distraction. But how to release that distraction and focus on renewing your faith to move forward. This is talking more on this for every action an equal opposite reaction. thing you have going here. And I think it's interesting that on the back of this card, it says to be one with your calling. And I'm thinking of the mirror energy we have here and the scales on the Justice card. And I know this reading might seem, I feel like it's getting into some heavy spiritual lifting, but you have 3 major arcana and 2 of them are in reverse. So it is what it is. So, okay, here we go. The scales in the Egyptian underworld mythology, they weigh the heart against the feather in order to move on to the afterlife. And anything that's too heavy is devoured and recycled, right? My favorite quote is, when you finally fall down, be on fire. And it's talking about leaving nothing on the table. Okay, so this reading was inspired by the Knight of Wands, and maybe that's why the messages are kind of all over the place, and I'm having trouble getting onto like one track here. Anyway, the Fool in reverse is holding himself back from his full expression, his full experience, and the Hermit in reversed is comparing himself to others and looking outside of himself for the world to tell him who he is. And this is your life, and you can't live anyone else's, and no one else is experiencing what you experience. You have essentially one job, and to live this life as you, exactly, point blank, period. So remember the mirror. If you're fragmented, you'll see fragmentation. If you're unsure of yourself, you'll believe the world telling you that you need to change, and then they can sell you the solution. The Justice card is an equation. And the laws of physics govern equilibrium, and the universe is subject to those laws just as you are. So by mathematical law, it must match you to maintain the balance. So if you want me to pull a clarifier, comment stack 2. If you're one of the brave souls that chose stack 2, and I will pull one more card and try to hopefully get it a little bit less general and more clear just for you, okay? Thank you. Stack 3, you're up with the deer. And it says, I shake away my fears and doubts and sail to my treasures. Okay, you have the World. Beautiful with that. The 8 of Air, it's like the 8 of Swords. The 3 of Fire, it's like the 3 of Wands. And so this, we're starting off, this is what needs your attention right now. So they've chosen this image because the matrix, it's a word for womb, somehow from the Latin for mother. And it's essentially, what that means is it's a structure in which something forms. And in the traditional tarot, interestingly, it's a guy looking out at some ships, out to sea. And they always say that he's watching his ships come in. But for me, coming after the 2 of Wands, it's a liminal moment. It's like you've carved out your own path. You've hacked your way through the wild, untamed jungle, and you've emerged on a beach. And now, do you make this your new home? Or does your journey continue out to sea? And there's no right or wrong to that. So where the energy of the matrix meets that liminal moment on the beach, what do you have? You have a boat. An ark, maybe. So this is a time of preparation and building your metaphorical boat. That's what needs attention. What will you need for your adventure? It's funny because my work is it's closing down next week, and I've been saying I won't be out to sea until my severance runs out. So until then, you're still in the channel and not in open water. So what is this metaphor for you? It's asking what's next. They want you to focus on what's next. What does open water represent in your life and in your situation? And how can you build your craft accordingly? Who has a ticket? Who's coming with you and who's not? How do you need to stock it? It's like this is your little safety bubble for the next phase of your journey, is what I'm seeing there. So for what's distracting you, you have the 8 of Air or Swords. And it's interesting because a couple of readings back, a totally different deck, a card called Confinement, came out. And so there's a running theme going on here, and it makes me wonder, I kind of wonder what's going on in the astrology. Comment if you know, please, why this confinement energy seems to be coming up. So how can you prepare for such an adventure if you're not even sure you want to do it, right? Have you already told yourself that you can't handle it? It's like there's a protective inner voice. It's on the back of this talking about the protective inner voice. It does serve to protect you, but at the same time, it can be like a helicopter parent who would rather keep their child safe and living in their basement forever because at least then they always know where they are, safe. But at the same time, not fully realized, not reaching their potential, not having much of an experience. Like the confining concrete walls of the warehouse I work in are safe with a predictable paycheck, but can I spread my wings there? Not fully. Plus, like I said, they're closing anyway, so don't be fooled that it's as safe as you think, that beach won't have pitfalls of its own if you decide to play that route. It's like that grown adult living in his parents' basement may seem safe to the parent who always knows where they are, but what are they consuming? What media are they consuming? Who are they talking to online? Safety is a weird concept right now. It's a weird word. Not easily definable concept as you think sometimes. So only you can decide what your trade-off ratio is. So for how to release that distraction and focus back on the next horizon, you have the world. And I want to say, I kind of want to say the world is your oyster, but that's a little cheesy. But the world is also a matrix, by definition of it being a structure in which something forms, you know, all life and whatnot. And it's cool because some artists depict the world with like a womb or a pregnant woman. So it's like an ending and a beginning. The end of your jungle path, the beginning of a more free phase at sea. Freedom is big here. The infant is safe in the womb, but it's not free. And if it isn't freed in the right time, well, that's not good for anybody either. Freedom. The key is freedom. You desire to be free, maybe the only thing strong enough to call you forward into your bravery is that desire to be free. So channel that desire for freedom to help you focus on your travel vessel or your action plan for achieving it. Stay on that beach exactly as long as you need to make your preparations. It's like there's no hurry and you can't rush it. So it's not saying, move before you're ready, nothing like that. But if your intention is freedom, then your time spent there will be in wise preparation. The actual work, starting to see it all come together, that may help contribute to that self-confidence that seems to be a little bit limited here. So if you want me to pull a clarifier just for you, comment stack 3, and I will pull one more card to get a little bit more detail just for you. Okay, thank you.